We have a polytunnel that we have been lambing in for about 5 years now. It's really good for us. The weather where I live is pretty hostile in spring.
Very windy and my fingers are starting to get very cold.
But this year, just before lambing,
well, we've come out this morning and we've got some bad news.
I'd got the sheep in and then I was walking around the corner to go and check on them, and courtesy of the storm, the sheet was flapping up in the air. It'd been ripped off. There's a wire over the top and it was hitting that, and the wind was so strong it was actually a little bit frightening to see.
The wind must have got in. I'm just getting a little bit exhausted trying to battle the elements.
It's not a good day. That's not what I wanted just before lambing time. Literally a week before lambing time was due, so.
They do look pretty pregnant, don't they? Look at the size of them.
The commercial breed that we have, so they're not very hardy, so the lambs have a higher chance of obviously dying or being susceptible to cold, wet weather conditions. Basically, sheep and lambs will die if I don't get this finished.
You ever done a documentary about circus acts?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
After assessing the damage, we basically made a plan.
The sheet needs to go down to the floor all the way around, but the back needs additional support.
On how best to not only put the new sheet on, but also how we could add additional support to the existing structure.
So I think we put it all down.
Yeah, we'll leave
and then
that timber work in there and then as it is.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So the first thing we had to do was obviously prepare the frame for the new sheet. So we removed all of the old rotten timber, and then once that, it was like a bare bone structure. But then I also applied what's called anti-hotspot tape onto all of the arches.
So, how far are we off hotspotting finishing?
Well, I'm just coming up with a little snag. I don't think I've got enough.
It's essentially like a foam tape that prevents the sheet from rubbing on the hard metal frame, so it reduces the chance of wear and tear on the new sheet, so it's important.
Well, what I'll do is I'll just finish off this beam, and then what I'm going to have to do is, instead of coming right the way down, I'll see how far I can get with one roll over the top.
What's the crack though?
Wind's picked up massively. There's no way you can put a sheet on in these weather conditions. It'd lift all of us up, so it's a bit annoying. Don't do this at home, boys and girls. Not without suitable PPE. Unlike me, who's now stranded up here because my ladder's blown over.
Do you need me to come and get the ladder?
Yes, please.
All right, okay. Do you want it around that side, yeah?
Yes, please.
Oh, it's covered in shit.
Yeah, it is.
Fucking fuck.
That's farming.
Hi, I'm Jay. You'll get to know me through the series.
It's not covered in shit, it's covered in dirt.
Jay's doing really well for a terrier. It's going to be a culture shock for anybody that's not come from an agricultural background.
Billy, come here.
No, don't wipe it on the dog. Yo.
Make sure the gate's fastened. Stop sheep coming in.
Well, yeah.
Otherwise they'll trash me bags.
Yes. Yes. You're saying keep the sheep out of here. The sheep were in here. The sheep are supposed to be in here.
Yeah.
At the moment, ironically, I bought all this to repair it before the sheep blew off.
I just kept thinking that if I don't get this done now, the job was fucked. Like, proper fucked. With all the prep done and better weather forecast, it was time to put on the sheet. But there was a problem. We rolled the sheet out, pulled the sheet over and realised that it was too small. They'd sent us the wrong sheet. So that just delayed the project again. With another day wasted, things weren't looking good. But then the new sheet finally came and so did the weather. The question is, how long would it last?
We managed to put the sheet on and fasten the sides. That was last week, but it's just been that windy every day since that we've not managed to do the ends of the sheets. I thought yesterday the sheet was coming off again, because it was like 70 miles an hour wind.
The wind started to pick up again.
That west wind comes in and be like 80 miles an hour. Got the team in. We're about to tighten the gable ends of the sheet up, so I'm racing against time with wind, and whilst we've got 4 of us pulling down on the sheet, we'll pull it down as tight as we can and then we'll fasten it too, and then I can weatherboard it afterwards.
So we wrapped the ends of the sheet in 4x1 boards and rolled them up.
Can you roll it anymore? Roll it.
Basically nail gunned it to the base rail of one side, and then we placed a scaffolding board, and the weight of 3 of us on it as moving along slowly was enough to pull the sheet really taut and get it tight.
Use that plank stood on to hold tension.
We put spade too far, so it sat on spade.
Yeah. It is not a techie way of doing it. It is not a perfect. There are professional tools out there for getting the sheet taut, but it did the job for us.
It's pretty tight.
I can't put that top there. Right there, get that fastened on.
Yeah. We've decided we're going to panel it on the outside as well, so like it's going to give additional strength and support to the rest of the polytunnel.
Same as before, we knew more bad weather was on the way, so we had no choice but to just crack on and get it done. So we actually worked well into the night. But the next morning, we didn't quite finish the polytunnel yesterday. It got well until the night. This morning,
I'm going to call her Beatrice.
We've started lambing 2 healthy and happy lambs.
All right, Beatrice.
So we've put them in the polytunnel with the mum.
Adorable.
I know. But also, one of them must have got rigged last night.
sheep get rigged.
So she's been stuck on her back in the rain and the wind all night.
Typically when they're very heavy in lamb.
So she's got pneumonia. She's looking really sorry for herself. I'm going to give her some medicine and some electrolyte solution, and hopefully we'll fix her right up, but it'll be touch and go.
Rigged actually it comes from the Old Norse word rig, and literally translates as back. So that's why we say when a sheep's been rigged, it's because she's been led on her back. Why that's bad? Because she can't get back up. If she's been there for a long time, it actually reorientates all of her organs inside. You always have that hope. You know, you're a bad farmer if you don't think or try and do everything that you can to try and resolve the problem. Yeah.
That's it, drink all that up. So I've made, it's like warm water, because obviously I want to try and warm her up, and then I have to put, it's a pre-made electrolyte, so it's got a lot of like vitamins and minerals in it, but I've also added honey and some salt to make it electrolyte for her, because she'll be really thirsty.
When you come across your livestock in that condition, you do take it personally. Even though you shouldn't, because there are so many other factors that are out of your control and you can't keep your eye on every single animal 24/7.
The thing is, I don't want her to drink too much.
They're your stock, so you do take it personally. And so when I went round that corner, I saw her. Of course, you feel guilty.
Well, I just finished giving her, I think I'm gonna give her another electrolyte.
But that doesn't stop you from just, you know, doing everything you can for your stock.
I would give her a multivit injection. I've given her a Draxing because she's showing signs of pneumonia. And I've given her a calcium as well.
I knew at that point there was only a slim chance of recovery. It never stopped me, and it never will for any animal, of just giving everything I have to try and, you know, bring them back to health.
Just lifting her head up.
Pardon?
Just lifting her head up.
I knew obviously I had to help her. I did everything I could, but also I was very much aware that the rest of the sheep were in the same position, still outside, still wet. So I knew at that point, we just had to crack on and finish the weatherboarding and get the sheep in.
She's not shivering anymore. She's trying to lift her head up, so that's a really good sign.
Yeah.
The sheep were a little apprehensive at first to come in, which is understandable because don't forget they're outside like most of the year. They only come inside for what, a few weeks during lambing. So after a little encouragement with some proving, we managed to get all the sheep in and the polytunnel done.
She really needs to get some of that in her, but for now, I'll focus on trying to get everything into her via water.
Yeah.
Any farmer that says death doesn't affect them is lying. I've never met one farmer, livestock farmer, that could say that, you know, they don't care about the health and the well-being of their animals. We're all extremely proud of having good, high quality and healthy animals. And I think as well, we have a better appreciation for life because we're around life and death, we're around that cycle all the time. And I think when you're living in that, you have a greater appreciation for life because you know what it costs if you lose it. So we finally got the polytunnel finished, against all the odds it would seem. I'm really happy with the results, with the additional weatherboarding and everything. We've actually massively improved it. I'm really lucky to have so many people in my life who can just, you know, come and support me when things go wrong, as they frequently do. Hopefully no more disasters.